Here we are. I'm not sure. I'm never sure which one until it starts moving at me. Zico the Third here, and we're going to be here talking about Bloodstained. On the couch here, we've got Koji Igarashi, we've got Shutaro Ida, and we've got Ben Judd. How you doing?
Good.
Excellent. You're going to show me this game. Tell me a little. Well, actually, tell me what your name, what you do actually with this game.
一応このタイトルで、どの肩書きがあるのか、実際どういう作業をしてはるか教えていただきたいんですけれども。
はい、私の方伊賀の方ですけれども、僕は一応、プロデューサーっていうような何をやってるのかわからない仕事をやってます。あとは今回のシナリオを書いたりとか、ゲームのプランニングもちょっとですけどやってます。
So my name is Iga. You may have heard of me before. For this title in particular, I'm a producer. Not that anybody knows what that means at all.
Yep.
Consider it a Master of Dark Arts. On top of that, I've also written the main scenario, and I'm doing a large portion of the design and planning on the title.
Excellent, excellent. And Koji Igarashi?
Shutaro.
That's Ida-san over there.
Oh, that's Ida. Oh, that's Ida. I'm so sorry.
They both wear black. It's confusing. I understand.
I understand.
同じそうです。
ディレクターのイーダーです。はい、今回のゲームデザインとあとはそうですね、制作式のちょっと大きなところやってたりします。
問題解決ですよね。
結構
問題作りですか。
問題解決がかなり大きな仕事になってます。はい。遊びの大きな部分を担当してる感じですね。はい。
はい。So that's Shutaro Ida. Shutaro Ida is the director on the game, and I asked him. So he's the guy that solves the problems, or rather creates the problems.
Yes.
And he was laughing. He said, yes. On top of that, he also does the design and just the overall, just overseeing of the title to make sure all the pieces are connected.
Excellent. Well, let's stop talking and we'll keep talking, but let's show some of the game here. This is what people want to see. People want to see gameplay. This is Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
E3 2017 version. Not to be confused with last year.
Right, absolutely. And I see that you brought a whip. Tell us why you have that.
なんでムチ持ってるんですか。
今回の体験版はいろんな武器が試せるんですけども、今回ムチあります。
マジで？
ムチあります。
So honestly, I've worked with him on multiple events, and he always brings the whip, and he never uses it. And so I'm just like missed opportunity. However, he does have a justification for bringing it to the show this time, and that is, in this build, you can use a wide variety of weapons that you've never been able to use in the previous builds, including the fabled whip.
Oh,
people that are fans of Igavania games love the whip.
Of course, you got to have the whip.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I grew up with Simon Belmont and Trevor Belmont and all those guys, and the whip, of course, you got to have it. So let's jump right into it and check it out.
ぜひやってください。
ではスタートします。
はい。
Tell us a little bit about what we're going to be seeing.
ハイレベル的でいいので、これから見せるものに関してはちょっと概要を教えていただきたいんですけれども。
ですね、今回は去年の E3 のプレイアブルをすごい長蛇の列ができたってこともあってですね、今回は前回よりちょっとだけ短く作ってまして、今回大聖堂のステージの特に鐘のある大鐘楼っていうんですけど、そのステージをメインに展開するような形のプレイアブルになってます。
So the high level of what you're going to see right now, of course, is the 2017 E3 build, as it said on the title screen. It's going to be a small subsection of the cathedral area in the game. Most Igavania games have a fantastically beautiful, arted cathedral stage, and within that there's going to be going through a long hallway that features these massive bells. So you're going to see a unique visual piece of the game that probably no one has seen before today.
Oh, really? So this is an actual exclusive reveal?
ここまで今まで見せたことないんですよね。ここまで。
そうですね。ここまで見せたこと、ここのステージも初めてですし、今回出てくる敵も全部
初公開ですか？
初公開の敵ばっかりです。
Wow, wow. So the stage itself, of course, is brand new. Oh, I hate those enemies. They are the most annoying. Like, come on, did you really have to put those in the game? Apparently so. But this will be the first time that you're going to be seeing this stage, these backgrounds, as well as every single enemy that you see here are all new.
Oh,
never seen before.
That's very, very cool.
で今回この 一番最初に手に入るのがこれは前と同じシャードになるんですけれども、今回のブラッドステインドのその特殊な攻撃としてディレクショナルシャードというのがありまして、方向を決めて魔力を打ち出すっていうものがありますので、それがまず一番最初に試すことができます。これは前回の E3 のプレイヤブルにも入ってたものです。
So he just picked up what is known as a shard. Shards are like how you gain new abilities, powers, etc. in the game.
Okay.
And they intentionally are giving you this first shard, which allows you to fire fireball out from your hand. And the reason they wanted to give that shard to people initially is because it's got a new skill that has not been in a lot of previous Igavania games, which is 360-degree directional aiming. So you can literally aim it at anywhere around in a circle from your main character for more pinpoint accuracy, highly skilled gaming, etc.
Yeah, that's one of the things I really enjoyed about I think it was Castlevania 4, where they had the whip and you can go anywhere with the whip.
Yep.
I've been waiting for someone to bring something like that back to give it a more versatile weapon feel.
That's right.
Yeah.
カスルバニア4でそうやって36度に鞭を振り回すことができたんですけれども、そういうフィーチャーというか機能が良くて、またそういうのをモダンのイガベニアのゲームに出たらいいなっていうのずっと思ったんですけど、やっとそれが出てよかったなと思います。
そうです。でさらに今もう新しい武器手に入ったんですけど、探検です。大した武器じゃないんですけど。
He said, "All right, and this build is all about the weapons." And he just got a knife or a small short sword sort of weapon.
Sorry, it's a knife. 刀かな入ったね。で刀、これは僕がモーションをですね、ビデオで撮ってつけてもらった。
Oh, the knife itself is pretty weak, so he moved over to the katana. He said, actually, when we were doing the animation for this, I actually took a fake sword and was doing the swinging. So that's actual EGA motion captured animation that you've got there.
Did he put on a dress?
その時はドレスをつけてやりましたでしょうかと。
傘を振ってました。ドレスじゃなく傘を振って傘で。
Apparently, it wasn't actually a fake sword. It was an umbrella that he was swinging around. So it's right in the middle there. It's the nice gray zone that we're
like Mary Poppins.
Mary Poppins のような。
なかなかったんでね。
He said, "Yeah, it's bad luck to open up an umbrella inside." So no, I kept it closed.
I have heard that. I have heard that.
で今この白いシャードのこれ魔性触台っていうやつなんですけど、白いやつはスキルシャードってこれおなじみのやつなんですが、今回ダブルジャンプが入ってます。
こういうのは大体別のこれを手に入らないと別のセクションに行けたりしないような感じですよね。
なんですけど本当はこれボスから手に入るようなものなんですけど、今回ちょっとここで必要だったのでここに設置したい。
はい。And so he just opened up a new shard. It was like a magic potion thing or whatever. And when he opened it up, it gave him a white shard. White shards are basically like they're the ones that gate the different sections that you can go to.
Right, like I saw, it's a popular thing to use double jump or like a wall break or something like that.
Exactly.
So the white shards represent that.
And he says traditionally you would get a white shard from being an enemy, not just like randomly throughout a stage. But for this demo's purpose, because they didn't want to put in multiple bosses and whatnot, they just allowed you to get out of the white shard place.
That's actually brings me to a point that I wanted to bring up. One of my favorite things in games like this are boss fights. Can you tell us a little bit about?
You know what? I think if you're a little bit patient,
okay.
We're gonna eventually see something pretty awesome. Some things that are seen cannot be unseen. As
okay.
Say.
Okay.
And there's a little backstory to it that I'll let Iga talk about after we get to that point.
Okay.
But yes. Your dreams will come true. Long story short.
そんなことしたら両手剣が手に入ると。
And while we were prattling on, he got.
これは緑のシャードがですね、ファミリアです。使い魔です。
Oh. He was first showing the two-handed sword there, the overhead smash.
The claymore, yeah.
And then right there, the green shard. This is brand new. No one's ever seen this. It's a familiar.
Yeah.
So.
今デュラハンマーヘッドっていう敵なんですけど、その敵のシャードで使い魔として。周りを飛んでいる薄いブルーのやつが使います。
はい。So there's something called the dual hammer head, and that's eventually if you get that shard from the enemy, then it will create a familiar that follows you around, and the familiar will go around killing different enemies as it is there on the stage. Let me ask if you can level it up. My expectation is that you can, but let me first check with the big boss.
Okay, okay.
レベルアップとかできますかね？
レベルアップ、今回はできないですけど、最終的にはする予定で今考えてます。はい。
わかりました。そうですね。So yeah, in this version, in this E3 build, you cannot But in the final game, yes, the goal is to make sure that you can level up your different familiars, very much like you could in a previous title that he worked on.
Now that all brings up another question. You said familiars. Are there more than are there a lot of them that you can pick from?
大麻はまあ複数あると思うんですけれども、多いですか？
使い魔
はい。
使い魔はまあまあってとこですからね、そんなにバカ多いわけでもないんですけど、そこそこいます。まあキックスターターで、
はい、
募集かけたやつもあるので、それもちゃんと入るように。
はい。Yeah, so he said it's not so many that it's going to get crazy,
right.
but it's not so few that people are going to get bored. He feels they're going to be very satisfied with the number. And of course, when we did the Kickstarter campaign, we allowed the backers to choose which of the familiars they wanted to have.
Oh,
and that
really?
One, of course, yes, will be in the game. Yes.
Wow, that is really cool. That's a really cool reward. Speak a little bit about the Kickstarter campaign. It has been an enormous success. Did you think that it was going to just be blown out of the water like it was?
まあ、キックスターターキャンペーンものすごい大成功になったんですけれども、そこまで大成功になるとは思いましたでしょうか？
いや、思わなかったです。
で、キックスターターをする上で、まあこれ長いことやってるじゃないですか。いろんなまた問題も、ナビゲートしたと思いますけれども、今思えば一番大変なところは何ですか？
キックスターターもちろんやってる時も大変だったんですね。あんだけスピードがあったので、常に新しい更新をしていかなきゃいけなかったのですごい大変だったんですけど、一番大変だなと思ってるのは今やっぱり通常のゲームって発売の3ヶ月ぐらい前からプロモーションとかかけたりするので、そこまで素材出さなくてもいいんですけど、作りかけのところで次から次へと素材を出さなきゃいけないっていうのがすごい大変です。
はい。So I asked him as well. Hopefully you don't mind. What's been the most difficult, challenging thing for doing a kickstarted game versus a traditional orthodox PR cycled game? And he said, of course, the campaign itself, you're burning so hot in a single month. You have to generate new ideas, concepts, art assets. No one sleeps. You just have to be so reactive to all the different feedback that you've basically compressed a traditional launch PR cycle of about 6 months into about a month.
Right.
So that's hard. But then additionally, now that he's done so much of the game and communicate with the backers, going back to the traditional PR cycle, what traditionally a publisher would do, they'd maybe announce the game 9 months out before launch. With this game, though, you basically announced it 2 years out from launch.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the sheer amount of assets and updates and just PR beats that you have to create over a 2-year cycle or a 3-year cycle versus a 9-month cycle is it's a whole lot of extra work that people don't realize goes behind the scenes.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the Kickstarter campaign meet every stretch goal? And did you have to come up with on the fly come up with new stretch goals?
ストレッチゴールキャンペーンやった時にストレッチゴールすべてを超えて最後に無理くり1つ2つ作ったりしましたよねと。
作りました。
はい。
作りました。
Yes, that's a very good observation. I remember it was the last 24 hours, and we're like, if this gets over 5 million, that's amazing. And then while I was on the bullet train to go up and see him for our last launch reveal, our last ending day reveal, it was clear we were going to get way past 5 million. And it was like, we need another stretch goal. So we had to put our heads together, and we're like, how about this? How about that? We had some really interesting ideas.
Yes, I'm sure.
That could be interesting to talk about sometime. But in the end, the last goal was a pretty cool one. So we're very happy where it ended.
We don't have a lot of time left. Was there a boss that we were going to get to, perhaps?
もうそろそろボスにたどり着くんでしょうか。いろいろ説明したいところがいっぱいあって、例えば、無知もさっき出てたんだよ。ごめんなさい。無知を出してたりとか、あと普通行けないところをダブルジャンプのキックで行けるよとか、いろいろやってるんだけど。Apparently, we've been talking too much.
Oh no!
And he said, I showed the whip at one point. I showed that there were a few areas. There's the whip. Yep.
Okay.
Now, animation かっこいいですよね。
叩きつける感じの無知にしました。
はい。And so this is different from what you might think of a traditional Igavania whip. Basically, he said it's more like smacking the enemy, with a downward motion. or an upward motion rather than just like thrusting your arm out like a traditional
で
style.
鐘もね乗ったりこれ落ちる仕掛けがあったりとか
Oh, and so by jumping on the bell there, it's enough weight to knock it down and make it fall on the ground and potentially reveal different secrets and whatnot.
Oh, okay,
じ
okay.
ゃあそろそろボスに向かっていきましょうか
All right, so we'll get off to the boss. He did also mention that there's a way you can double jump onto an enemy's head and then launch yourself up even higher. So that
Okay,
will help
okay.
you if you want to, at an earlier point, reach different
これ
places.
こう隠し壁が実はあって
Oh, and there's,
That's what I was going to ask about, the secrets.
that's right, the traditional secrets, of course, packed within. ジャンプ、頭の上にジャンプするっていうのは、もうここではできないで
です
かね。
きないことはないが
難しい。He said jumping on somebody's head is very challenging in this area. So, まあだったらいいよ。
He's having a little trouble.
That's right.
でもね
It's a high skill move.
映像を見ててくれてた人は見てるはず
But for anybody who's watching the stream, we're sure that they saw it. As long as they weren't looking at us.
Right.
And let's be honest, they shouldn't be looking at us.
No, they're not. We're not
that
even on the
interesting.
camera right now, so.
We're certainly not as beautiful as this game.
No, it looks
で
gorgeous.
武器もこんなにたくさん出てます
And right there, it just shows all the different sort of weapon types. So again, this is going to be a game packed full of the Igavania sort of love that we all cherish.
Now, quick question, and then maybe just a question for me. Do you sell kung fu shoes?
カンフーシューズを販売してますかと、ゲーム用の。
ゲーム用の
ちょっと商品として。
商品でまだ販売してないです
Not yet.
Okay.
We'll take it
I'd
under.
buy some kung fu
We'll take
shoes.
it under advisement.
で今回実は靴ものすごい短いじゃないですか、前短い分だけちょっとした特典があって、普通のさっき言ったそのダブルジャンプからのキックとかスライディングっていうのが、普通はそのすごい威力が低いんですけど、靴を履いてる時だけその靴の威力で蹴ることができます。
So there was like a kick in the previous E3 build, but they've been able to adjust the design on that, which is with the shoes on, you can slide, double jump, kick people in the head, and do kick-based moves that do a lot more damage and can potentially defeat enemies versus when you don't have the shoes on as a weapon. Oh, here's the enemy. Here's the boss.
でこのボスこれから出るんですけど、気をつけなきゃいけないのは、
はい
ちょっと表現が
はい
ちょっとやりすぎたかもしれないので、
はい
ここから緩和される可能性があります。ここからだけかもしれない
All
の
right.
で。
So, ちょっと待ってくださいね。それ先に言わせてください。So before he shows you the fireworks,
Okay.
shows you what's behind the curtain.
Okay.
Let's just say this. Egan wants to throw out a mild disclaimer,
Okay.
which is when he makes games, he kind of overdoes it
Okay.
with some of the visuals. And we're not sure about these visuals, whether they'll make it into the final game for reasons which you'll probably be able to understand. But just keep that in mind.
I can't wait. I can't
This
wait.
may be the only time you see this.
Okay.
All right. じゃあどうぞ。
どうぞ。
はい。
いきます。
Uh-oh. That's a dangerous camera angle.
Yeah.
I'm hearing some laughter from the cameramen, so that obviously means
ブラッドレスという血液を血をこう扱う、こ
はい
れ全部血でできているドレスを着ているブラッドレスというキャラクター。
so. This boss is named Bloodless, and her clothes, her parasol, everything she uses is composed of blood. That's the key
Okay.
design behind it.
And well, and there's the umbrella he was using.
That's イーガさんが使ってた傘、それですかね。血でできた傘ですか。
そうだと思います。
He's like, yeah, you're probably right. It was an umbrella made of blood.
Oh, so every attack she uses is blood based.
Firing blood at you,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Okay.
And as you can see, the ground is all just like a slaughterhouse coated in blood.
でダメージを受けていくと血液を出していくのでどんどん服が短くなっていく。そしてまた吸って
どっから吸うんですか？
今周りにあったやつを吸う。
So what makes her really interesting as a boss character is that the more she fires at you, blood, and takes damage, that's a part of her clothing, and so her clothing starts to get smaller and smaller as she fires more blood-based attacks, to the point where she has to recharge her clothes by sucking off the blood that's on the ground, ceiling, etc.
I love it.
It's cool.
I
It's
love
a really
I think
cool
it's- I
design.
think that's awesome. I'm sorry. I wish I don't have anything to say. I'm just I'm watching the fight.
もっといろいろ解説したいところですけれども、あまりにもちょっとかっこよすぎて、ちょっと回答に困ります。
So okay, it looks like.
それで終わりです。
And then, of course, like as in all bosses or major enemies, they turn into a crystal after they.
Oh yeah,
die.
and you collect that. Yes, of course.
That's right.
Now, it looks like there was the familiars.
That's right.
Are they temporary sometimes?
使い魔は一時的なものなのか、それともずっと沿っていくのか、どんな感じですか？
ですね、使って装備すると、そのキャラクターがずっとついてくるような形になります。で、以前の作品では例えばそれを出してっぱなしにしてると MP が減るような仕様もあったんですけども、今回は出し得です。出しとけば攻撃増えるんで。
わかりました。So there's been different types of familiars in previous Igavania games, and there were ones that required magic points.
Okay.
And so the longer you had them out, the more it would drain your magic
Oh,
points.
sure.
And therefore, they were limited time use technically. For this, they're not putting any sort of limitation on how you use them. So basically, equip that familiar, and then they're always with you for the whole game.
Awesome.
So
before we go, where can we get this? When can we get this? How can we get this?
これが最後の質問ですけれども、これはいつ手に入るのか、どこで手に入るのか的な話ですけど。
来年のまだ未定なんですけど、なるべく早いうちに出したいなって思ってます。で、いろんなところで今稼働しているその今週末期ではだいたい動くんではないかなと思います。
So, he says that it's going to be next year.
Okay.
At hopefully an earlier point in the year than a later point in the year is all he can commit to.
Okay.
But he also says it's going to be on pretty much every major platform.
Steam, Xbox,
that's right, that you can consider.
PlayStation, yep.
So hopefully, if you're a fan of this sort of game, then you'll pick it up.
Excellent. Arigato. And thank you very much.
Thank
you very much.
Thank you.
Bloodstained, check
Lot
it
of
out
fun.
very soon. We're going to throw it out to Marcus on